Empire, it clearly says that in later times some will abandon the faith and follow deceiving spirits and things taught by demons. Such teachings come through hypocritical yarns, whose consciences have been seared as with a hot iron. This monster cannot be sting at a Mephistopheles.
Boys, we got a big one today. I am going to be defending this title. I understand that the indie market is very large and that I will not be able to play all the indie horror games, or especially the 8-bit indie horror games. But I believe that I have found the coup de grace, the creme de la creme. Faith, the unholy trinity, has hit the perfect mark of stylistic genius and engaging storytelling. In the next videos to come out, I will be talking about Faith's overall story points, as well as the setting, and also just complimenting its ambiance and its pacing. Let's jump into it, shall we? Faith starts out with a little intro scene. I'm going to play it now.
September 21st, 1987. It's been 1 year since I first went inside that house. I have to finish what I started. What I am about to do has not been approved by the Vatican.
Now that that's out of the way, allow me to read some exposition. Molly, the church might contact you in the next few days to tell you their version of what happened to me. I want you to hear from me first. A year ago, I was involved in the exorcism of Amy Martin. What they said in the papers about what happened isn't true. She blank, my superior, Father blank, with blank. When I confronted her, she blank managed to cut the power to the house and blank her own parents. I have to go back to that house. The nightmares I'm having are real. She's still there waiting for me. I can still help her. If I don't come back, know that I love you and I'm sorry. John. Faith, the unholy trinity, takes place in Connecticut during the 80s. The Martin family seems to just live a normal rural family life, but that all changed someday when some very suspicious things started happening. Bob must be stationed somewhere in the Middle East because he sent over this weird-looking doll for Amy's birthday. I'll ask Anish about it next time we have book club. She looks like she could be from over there. Amy didn't seem excited to see the doll. I think she would rather have a phone instead. Or maybe seeing a baby doll makes her feel self-conscious about working at the clinic. Now, it's very interesting. This doll is seen throughout the house multiple times, and it is something that you exercise within the house. And I do believe that the doll has something to do with her possession. This leads me to my final plot points that I discovered in the first chapter. In your letter, you asked, what's the weirdest thing I've seen as a missionary? The area we are working in has a lot of folks who practice Kimbamba. It's what you might call a pagan religion. It's a kind of a mix of Catholic and African religions. One of the saints they worship is San la Muerte, or Saint Death. Yesterday we talked to a boy, about 15. When we asked him if he had ever prayed to anyone, he said, no, but I've prayed to San la Muerte. He told us about the time when he stayed over at his cousin's house, and according to him, they, quote, prayed to some figures of San la Muerte, and the figures made things in the house move around. He got really quiet and scared looking after that. We told him that he could pray to God, and that God wouldn't make him feel scared. We invited him to the church, but he has never come. I need to wrap up this letter and get back to work. See you in 4 months. Leighton. Now, from the outside, this certainly looks like just some external lore in the world, but the world that you play in seems to have a lot of spiritual and demonic activity. It wouldn't be surprising if the things moving around the room in this world were actually by some La Muerte demon. And perhaps these demons being prayed to are able to curse objects. And that's what I believe has happened with Amy. Once the main boss battle at the end of Chapter 1 commences, you are mysteriously given a rifle with a single bullet. This gun was mentioned earlier in the game when the wife mentions being spooked by someone in the woods and wanting to dig up the rifle. So we can assume that this is the Martin family's rifle. How it got there we do not know, but scribbled throughout the main room in blood says, "Kill her." And there are multiple endings that can occur due to your choices. If you decide to not kill her and instead kill a deer, when you drive away, a deer will run in front of you and you will be killed by a group of deer, which is very confusing because the deer seem very docile throughout the game, but all of a sudden they take sentience and stand on 2 hooves. But in the actual ending, you end Amy's life. And though the chapter ends with John making it out safely, his story is far from over. Boys, this game is quite incredible. I've just covered 1 chapter, and this is by far the shortest chapter out of the 3. I want to make a video on each chapter, going more and more in depth in the story, but I also just want to compliment the creation of this game. For some reason, even though the graphics are so crude, they're meant to, replicate an MS-DOS game perhaps, they're still able to envelop you in a story and genuinely spook you. There have been times throughout this game where I have screamed out loud at things that have happened in the game. And logically, it shouldn't work that way because you can barely tell what's on the screen because of the quality of the graphics. From its music to its pacing to its overall ambiance, it does a great job of being able to imply just enough to allow your mind to run wild with the idea of this world. I am very excited to talk more about this game. If you believe that I should continue this series on Faith, the Unholy Trinity, please let me know, and I'll be sure to get the next videos to you as soon as I can. Thank you for watching.